That sounds official.
Some breaking news going on there, courtesy of Claire Marie's wonderful compositional skills. Before we actually get to the breaking news on Nemo Nation, this sports report is brought to you by Shady Rays. Go to ShadyRays.com and check out their protection program. Man, if you break them, if you lose them, Shady Rays has got your back. ShadyRays.com. Detroit and Chicago at a 3-game set this weekend. That might have been a preview of a potential World Series. We'll see. But right now, it was a matchup of arguably the two best teams in the bigs. The Tigers are up 7 in the Central, which, by the way, is when Nemo Nation begins. See what I did there? And the Cubs are up 4 in the NL Central. I did get here at 4. Dre and Dave got here at 5. Not saying, just saying. The Tigers took the rubber match 4-0 as Flaherty went 6 innings, gave up 2 hits, and struck out 9. And by the way, Jamie's going to love this. She joins us this morning, managing director over at LandLine. Managing director. I'm making her into like the grand poobah of all things. Congrats to movie maniac Tom Cruise, who has entered the Guinness Book of World Records when he made his 6th jump from an airplane with a burning parachute. He was strapped into a parachute soaked in gasoline. It was lit on fire. He deployed the flaming. He then cut it loose and deployed the actual one. He actually did it 16 times. A large part of Cruise's success can be chalked up to his absolute focus and authenticity and pushing the boundaries of what a leading man can do. It's an honor to be able to recognize Cruise's utter fearlessness with his new Guinness World Record title. That was Craig Glenday, editor-in-chief over at the Guinness Book of World Records. And by the way, it just occurs to me, Jamie, can you imagine how angry the guy who held the old record must be right now? I mean, can you imagine the anger and the rage of that? Jami Jones, good morning. How are you?
Hey, I'm doing good. The fact that record even exists shows the level of human stupidity beyond.
I'm going to jump out of an airplane.
I was torturing, I don't know why, one of my writers not too long ago. We were laughing about stupid Guinness Book of World Records, and I said, but have you seen the one where the gal eats 5 quarts of mayonnaise? And he's like, no, that's not a thing. So, of course, I pull it up, and I'm sitting there, and I think we made it collectively like 10 seconds into it before I gagged.
Oh,
my God.
And this poor Guinness Book of World Records official is having to stand there in real time and watch this.
Oh my God! By the way,
he wins the record.
There, by the way, is somebody actually set the record for the most people wearing sheets as ghosts, but it happened in England. And I'm thinking, like, I went and watched it, and people actually had sheets over their heads with little holes in the eyes. It looked like it was spooky. But I kept thinking, man, that could go really wrong in the Deep South. That can go really, really, really wrong in the Deep South. I mean, I can just see some people not taking it. But I always think about when I hear those ridiculous records is, how does the person who said it feel when it gets broken? I'm heartbroken for the guy who jumped out of a plane 5 times.
And with the price of gasoline today,
it's unbelievable, dude.
You know,
Unbelievable.
Only a Hollywood star can afford to do this.
Yeah, exactly. Cruise has access to diesel at a level most of us don't have. You can't catch that on fire, by the way. Jami Jones joins us this morning. Hey, Jami, welcome. Welcome to the first Nemo Nation.
I am so happy to be here and so honored. You guys are the best. I really... When I got the invitation from Claire, I was like, of course I'll do it. You know, this is a once-in-a-lifetime deal right here. So I was very, very honored to get the invite.
Well, we are honored to have you, and have always loved working with you guys side by side through the decades. You know, OOIDA in its own right goes all the way back to the beginning of the new, what I would consider to be a new age of trucking. The 1970s brought on so many things that trended into the future, trended into what we're doing right now, as a matter of fact, on the entertainment and information side. And then you have the communication side, whereby I contend that and think about this for a second, Jamie. We're talking about social media. We're on YouTube Live, and folks are doing...
Wait, we're live?
We're live right now. This is not...
Oh, wait a minute.
This is not the promised run-through.
What's the delay?
The rehearsal got canceled. No, this is the real thing right here.
Oh, wait a minute, wait
yeah.
a minute. Hold on a second. Keep it fair, Dave. Keep it fair.
But what I'm getting at is that truck drivers and the birth of OOIDA itself was basically born of social media, and at that time it was the CB radio, and at that time only truckers were really using CB. It was designed for the Coast Guard, then farmers got a hold of it, and then truckers kind of got a hold of it.
And then some pimple-faced kid named Todd. That dude sucks.
Todd.
I'm sorry, we got totally in the weeds there. Jamie, okay, so we're going to make this, we're going to use you as our guinea pig. What we're going to do with a lot of our guests here is ask them 3 basic questions. Dave, you want to fire them away?
Yes.
Here we go.
Jami Jones, in your opinion, what was the thing last week that resonated with you in terms of the trucking news, the trucking world, the trucking dynamic? And what today do you think is going to pull in through from last week into this week, and what do you see coming down the pike? Those are such easy questions, I was embarrassed to ask.
Well, and sometimes it's super easy to answer that. Sometimes it's not. You've worked in news long enough to know that there's those weird news cycles that you're like, don't really have anything solid to give you, but I'll pull something out. But we're in a really, I would say this is a big turning point for trucking right now. We've been in a long news cycle with the freight recession, the rate recession, the back and forth on the tariffs, the uncertainty of the market, everything like that. And while you have this economic news that's out there, it flipped, and we got something done that I don't think we would have been able to had the market not really contributed as negatively as it has. And that's the English language proficiency enforcement, which has everything to do with safety. And, and it really shouldn't be mistaken for anything else. And so we are coming up, we're about 2 weeks out from the enforcement of the English language proficiency standard. The CBSA quit putting them out of service about 10 years ago, and that's going to go back into effect here at the end of June. And a lot of people are really, really looking forward to that, hoping that will change the situation and improve highway safety, and in turn hopefully help these depressed rates that they're seeing. But the conversation continues to grow around that. And last week we saw a lot of conversation happen about cabotage. And I love that word because you say it to anybody and pretty much 9 out of 10 people are going to look at you like, what?
Well, Jamie, let me say this about that. You know how everything just goes around in a circle. I've been emphasizing the fact that we've come full circle, coming back to the birthplace of trucking radio. We're within walking distance of the old studios at WWL. What I'm getting at is that back in the early 80s when deregulation, when the Motor Carrier Act of 1980 came along, and Rick Gobble's going to talk about that a little bit later this morning, cabotage was a thing, and I had to look it up. Everybody had to look it up, but cabotage was a parcel of our maritime rules at the beginning of the country, because it was a maritime thing at first, and then it became a trucking thing. So yeah, all of a sudden, cabotage is going to be the stepchild of the English speaking thing. You get what I'm saying? It'll be the next phase, because you're not supposed to run from San Francisco to Chicago if you came out of Mexico or Canada.
Yeah, I mean, you can't do another pickup. And that's basically the core of it, right? I mean, it's like basically you're supposed to be here and you're supposed to get out. If you pick up another load along the way, we're going to have a little discussion with you. That's basically the thrust, right?
Right. You can pick up a load and go home.
Yeah.
but you can't pick up a load and go somewhere else in the U.S.
Yeah.
So you do have to go
mean,
home,
You do
and you
have to
can't
go home,
stay
yeah.
here.
So, yeah, watch out for that to be the next big thing again, but it's going to circle back to, the 70s too, but it was more prevalent.
You just want to go back to the 70s.
Yeah, the 70s were such a. The more I think about the 70s, the less I want to think about the 70s.
I was born in the wrong era.
Yeah,
I'll tell you
let me
that.
tell you what.
Oh my God!
Yeah,
Oh my God!
yeah.
Jamie, we got to float you, dude. We're going to be moving through this like a freight train. We're going to get you on longer. We're going to get you on during Road Gang Radio as well. But tell people where they can check out the big stories you got coming up this week.
Hey, yeah. Cruise on over to LandLine.media, and you really want to, especially on this cabotage thing, because we have the best editorial cartoon. It features a Buford T. Justice, so it's on our website. You have to go see it. It's hilarious.
Whoa.
But LandLine.media is where you can find us online. We also have a YouTube channel that you can check us out on, and we stream on every major podcast service as well, so you can check that out.
Thank you, Jami Jones. Thank you for being part of the first guest of the second hour of Nemo Nation. We love you. We can't wait to talk to you some more. Thank you, Boo.
Thank you, Jamie.
Love you guys.
All right.